up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Late Night Live number 74. I see people are talking in the chat. Before I continue, I'm going to make sure we look at the screen and make sure that I press go so that I don't talk to myself for 15 minutes this week. What's going on, Fozzie? Wow. Is the music loud? Here we go. Let's see. There was some, I'm using my earbuds today, so the audio got a little, the audio settings got changed. Is that a good volume now? Sweet. I think this is about where we were before. If you guys want the volume turned up or down, just let me know. Hello, hello. Fozzie is earlier than she's ever been to a stream. Welcome, Fozzie. Hello, Miss Marilyn. For the second time today, I was on a Zoom call with Marilyn and a group of fountain pen people a few hours ago. That was fun. What's going on, Hody? Welcome, welcome. Hey, JC. Good evening. Right on. I didn't post for names or any theme or anything on Instagram, so today we're just gonna have a chill practice session. I'll be taking requests from the chat, and as always, answering questions and hanging out and just practicing. Since I started the dictionary.com word of the days, I've been quite happy with my hairlines and with my writing. So I've been really enjoying the practice, and the nightly sitting down at my desk to write the word of the day has been very awesome. I've had some nice chats with friends in the Discord live study room. I'm pretty much in there with the exception of today. I'm in there around like 11 p.m. my time, because that's when the website, dictionary.com, drops the new word of the day. So I try to get it done before I go to sleep. And I figure, since I'm writing them, I write them in the live study room. And some people have jumped in there. What's going on, Jay? Nice to see you. And we got Lurker James in the house. Sally Ellington is here. Sally Ellington, I didn't see you last week, so I want to say to you, thank you very much for your donation before Christmas. That was awesome and super appreciated. So, thank you. Made my Christmas. AM or PM? PM. I've been in here, or I've been in the study room at night, because that's when they posted around 11 p.m., 10:30, 11 p.m. my time. They post the new word of the day for the next day, so I can get it written and take the photo and everything and have it ready. So when I wake up the next morning, I can post it straight to Instagram. I don't have to worry about waking up to a bad writing day or something like that. Did I get the card you sent? I don't think so. Not yet. Did you send it to the P.O. box? I haven't checked that in a little bit, so I'm going to go check that tomorrow. It's on my list of things to do. I don't believe I've received the card yet. Alright. First dip of the day. Where do we have the light? Right there. Get warmed up. Oh, the hairlines that this nib is giving me today, and in the past week since I've been using it, are very, very enjoyable. This is the same Hunt 101 that I used last week. But the day after last week's stream, I gave it a really quick, like 2 minutes max. I gave it a quick zing on the two sides and smoothed out the tip a little bit just to get it a little bit finer. It was already pretty fine and good last week, but I just gave it a little tweak. Oh, Fozzie's doing computer work today. Excuse me, doing computer work. Getting your wedding. Is that the save the dates that you're photoshopping right now? Haha, yay. Glad to hear the client approved the weird S. It's a good S. And I like the combination of that S and that D that you did. Because you got the compound curve in both. It's nice. What was today's word of the day? Today's word of the day was... started with an F, I remember that. But that's all I remember. It was... it's loading. Firth. The word was firth. A long, narrow indentation of the sea coast. I really like doing the words of the day. Funnily, I know that's not a word, but kind of funny, when I woke up this morning, one of my Facebook memories that came up was a calligraphy post from, I believe it was like 2014 or 2015, where I had just basically gotten started doing some more advanced ornamental penmanship stuff, and it was a word of the day. It was me writing back in those days when I wrote the dictionary.com word of the days for practice. And then I stopped for many years, and I'm glad to be back on the bandwagon now. Thinking in February, which we're not very far from February, I think I'm going to do another Sig Sling and Sunday series. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat today. I think we're going to do another Sig Sling and Sunday series in February. So if we got any OP folk in the chat that have a suggestion for a signature they would like, I have a bunch sort of prepared. Or not prepared so much as chosen, or in a batch to choose from. But if you have any suggestions, post them in the Discord. Let me know that you'd like to see them for Sig Sling and Sunday, and I can add them to the choice mixer. Oh, Valentine's Day thing, right? I haven't written. It's been a while since I used to write love letters for people on Valentine's Day. I haven't done that in a long time. Oh, such nice hairlines. Smooth shades. Whoops, that one went a little long. Oh, that's awesome, Marilyn. I mean, it's great practice. I would love to write an entire dictionary. Have like a handwritten dictionary, but that would be immensely huge. Feeling smooth. Again, because I did change the volume, let me know if the volume is too high, too low. I'm assuming now it's not too high, but I have a suspicion that it might be a little on the low side. You guys can let me know. Or if it sounds absolutely perfect, that's cool as well. there any books that I would like to copy for practice except the Bible? I mean, I've always liked the idea of writing the Harry Potter series. That's an incredibly daunting endeavor. Or that would be an incredibly daunting endeavor. But of all book series, it would be, I would love to do Harry Potter in handwriting. Lord of the Rings would obviously be really cool, but that's even more daunting. Feeling smooth today. One habit of my own, I'll let you guys sort of know where I am in, or where my head is. You'll notice right here in this crossing of the F, it didn't happen so much in the second one, and then this third one, you can see it there. I have this oval is pointier than down here. We have this nice smooth oval down here, and then it goes smaller as if it was creating a smaller implied oval for some reason. And I want it to match the other side, but for some reason, it is a habit of mine to go and make that not pointy, but pointier. Yeah, Harry Potter would take an extremely long time. I mean, you could sort of have your goal to just be the first book. Wouldn't take quite as long. It's the shortest of, I think it's the shortest of all of them. Aside from that, though, there's not of other stuff that I've really thought that I really want to copy. What about you, Hody? Do you have, what do you want to copy or make a real version of? Like I said, the dictionary would be really cool. There's got to be some other short stories, longer than things like Little Red Riding Hood, but shorter than Harry Potter. Hello, Mum. Welcome to Late Night Live number 74. Oh, J Skeet. My name is J Skeet? Skeet? Just Skeet? Just Skeet. I'm gonna say just Skeet, unless you correct me and tell me to say something else. Drills for the lowercase letters. Are there any good ones? Yeah, there are tons of good ones. It's no secret that I don't spend all that much time on the lowercase letters, or I don't drill them nearly as much as I should. But the main drills that I personally think lowercase is like, I mean, the cool thing about lowercase and practicing and training lowercase is most of the old books sort of use a lot of the similar drills, and there's a ton of them, with the exception of doing obviously ovals and everything smaller than we do them for capitals. The big ones, or what I like to think about, is not a specific drill, but practicing the, like, pick a letter. So if I were to do just like the lowercase n, for example. Now when I'm doing these, my focus is not on the lowercase n itself. Obviously I want to try to do a good one, but in this instance, I'm working on this space that goes from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here. Getting that as a little dart, as a quick movement that is not, that doesn't involve really my hand, or hardly even, yeah, my hand or my wrist at all. It is just my forearm getting me across the page in that dart. So no matter what lowercase letter I'm writing, could be a C, dart, 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 dart. And then when that becomes habitual and smooth, all of your, that's just your spacing. So, I mean, you could practice that in, like, this is quite spaced for, say, Spencerian. This is very ornamental penmanship. You could do closer together. Or if you wanted to work on, like, a running hand type of a style. That's the one that will take a little bit more muscle training. And yeah, this is what Posy just said, cross drills. This is then what leads into cross drills, because when you're doing cross drills, it's less about drilling the letter itself, in my opinion anyways. When you get to the point where you're doing cross drills, you already know the letter form, you already can do the letter form. So now you're working on doing that letter form evenly spaced in a straight line. So you do it with a cross drill. But that's the cool thing, there are so many good books on lowercase letter exercises. The hard part, in my opinion, or the hard part for me, is actually doing them. It's really easy to look at the books, read the exercises, and kind of leave it at that, versus looking at the books and doing every exercise, not just through the whole book, but spending time on each exercise, like give each exercise like a week or at least a couple days or something, so that everything's building, and the growth is there. It's laid out a lot more succinctly than it would be for ornamental penmanship, because that gets more artistic and has a lot more freedom, so they don't tend to teach it quite as structured. They just say, this is what it looks like, do it. Whereas business penmanship, lowercase letters, you can drill them very specifically. And I get bored, so I never end up doing them for very long. But I will say I did a full page, kind of a page and a half, because I did the other side as well, of lowercase practice the other day. I wasn't on a stream or anything, but I had finished my word of the day and I was having a really good writing session, so I just kept going. I pulled out a straight pen and I put in, or a straight pen holder, and I put in this nib into that holder, and I did some straight pen business penmanship, or unshaded ornamental lowercase letters with basically very close to the same thing exercises. And by exercises, I mean random words and sentences and things like that. A few drills here or there, but not really the disciplined ones that they teach you in the books. I hope these hairlines aren't too fine for the camera today. That would be unfortunate. Ooh, there's a habit I'm trying to get rid of. I don't mind my accent shade being up here at the top of my shade, but this hairline right here versus this hairline right here are different, which means I'm applying too much pressure when I start my stroke, which is actually something we were talking about just yesterday on the Discord. Starting stem strokes like this, keeping this with no dark spot at the very beginning of that stem. Going as light as humanly possible. Is there a Skeet? Just a question for Skeet, because you were asking about lowercase. Is there a specific aspect of the lowercase letters that you're having trouble with, or that you're wanting to work on right now? Whoa, that doesn't look very good. That should be like that. Oh, maybe I will start planning for, I mentioned this forever ago, but maybe 22 is the time for it to actually happen. I mentioned that I want to do page of connected letters that goes through every letter and every combination in the entire alphabet. So like A, B, AC, AD, AE, and so on and so forth. Maybe I'll start that today. Thinking through some of them. You start with the letter A. Maybe I'll do that, or I'll do it for a while anyways. See if I get bored of it. Do A. Pretty easy to get into AB. Wait, I'm supposed to start with AA. Ha! Whoops. Well, there's AB. Just relatively simple, makes sense. Oh, I could do Miss Marilyn. Your quote just reminded me. I could totally do Alice in Wonderland. That's a good story to write. It's a good, not super short, but a good, not like crazy long either. It's not a novel. Is that from Alice? That is from Alice in Wonderland, right? I could do that. Is my chat still here? Are you guys still with me? Or is it just very quiet? The last time... Okay, chat is still here. You guys are just quiet. Alright. I'm all paranoid from what happened last week. Ah, the Little Prince. That's actually a good idea too. Now, would I write it La Petite Prince? Would I do the Little Prince in French? That's how I originally read it or learned it when I was in school. Oh, the A to A is somewhat of an interesting... I mean, that's a whatever way of doing it, but I don't know if that's the best. Uh-oh. Go help a meltdown friend. Alright, Sally's on board. We're into it. What up, OZ fam? Ah, Lowercase Shades. Oh, what up, George? Yo, so I'm so jealous. And I'm George, I'm gonna call you out and make you put it in the chat. George, this past weekend, was at the Philadelphia Pen Show, which is normally one of the pen shows that I attend every year, or it's one of the pen shows that I try to attend every year when there are pen shows. And George got to go there, and I couldn't be there, and I had to deal with the FOMO of seeing everybody's posts from the weekend, and I didn't get to go. How was the show, George? What did you buy anything? If you did, what did you buy? Ooh, what color pocket 6? I miss being so close to the Los Angeles Pen Show. I fear that my days of going to that show might be at an end. Unfortunately, unless I happen to get to LA around that time of the year, but it's not likely. How else can I connect the AA? I guess I could do other variations of the A. Ooh, that would be better for a G. Oh, right, I forgot. So for lowercase shades, that's the one place in lowercase letters where you can really activate your fingers. I would say one of the keys when shading the lowercase letters, and this is something that I'm just right now really trying to work on, For a long time, I feel like I have been overshading my letters, making them a little bit too heavy. And what ends up happening then, if I'll do just for example's sake, if I were to do a large lowercase n, instead of my shade getting back to a hairline and doing the top turn on a hairline, one of those would end up being sort of filled in, for lack of a better word. So it would end up being like the shade would come in too soon, or the shade would go too late, so the bottom doesn't have a really smooth turn. And even if we were to take like these ends here and blow them up this big, the shade on those would be like this big, which would feel very excessive if it were done at this size. So we got to really think about taking this with that slight accent and shrinking it down so that the accents are just like slight. It's hardly even perceptible going through a lot of the old books, or not even old books, the scrapbooks and whatnot, and seeing the examples. Some of my favorite work, when I go through, isn't very heavily shaded at all. It's actually really lightly shaded. Like, I almost habitually shade every descender stroke right there, and then but I'll look through a lot of old correspondence and realize that a lot of that is not shaded, or just like lightly shaded. So I have actively started practicing now, specifically when I'm doing the word of the days, trying to tone down that muscle memory, or the activation of my finger creating that shade, so it's just less, getting control of that. And that's just repeating those letters, and after doing them, like looking at them and seeing essentially how close to a hairline can I make that shade but have it not be the same as the fine hairline. So it's just a fine shade. And then if I want to make it bigger, I have that control. I can always make it a little bit bigger if I want to, but I'll have the control of being able to make it just slightly heavier as an accent, which I think can look very gorgeous. It's like the work that there are lowercase t's that are really gorgeous, that are just like slightly heavier on top. And then to parry that, there are lowercase t's that are very heavy, and they're, I think, equally cool. It's just a stylistic thing. Right now, I'm really working on just that faintness, because it's where I'm at now. It's easier for me to do things larger shaded, but that can end up looking a little bit on the sloppy side. So I'm trying to sort of take a step back and retrain that shade control. Is the music a toy sound? I don't know. My music is really quiet in my ear today. Was it a toy sound? Maybe Fozzie, are you losing it over there? Are you having a tough time at the moment? French. Jay, I have never, well, not intentionally anyways, I've never actually written anything in French, in ornamental penmanship, which I should. I have been. I think today was my 122nd straight day of my doing my French training with Duolingo. Most of it I know what the computer is saying most of the time, but I'm relearning the rules, which I never was really good at, I don't think. Got your pocket 6 in copper with some super sheeny ink. Nice. That's wicked, George. I'm excited for. I got a new Yovo nib for my pocket 6, which is right here. There's my pocket 6 that I got at the Philly Pen Show 2 years ago, and I got a new, hopefully extra fine Yovo nib from Gina at the custom nib shop, and it will be in the mail to me shortly, and I'm very excited to get it and to write with it. And I'll be using that for likely lowercase business penmanship practice. I might do some of my inkowrimo letters with a fountain pen instead of a dip pen. Speaking of inkowrimo, if nobody knows what inkowrimo is, February is coming up, and this year is the 10th anniversary of February being International Correspondence Writing Month. That being that for the month of February, you try to sign a personal contract with yourself where you take on the challenge of writing a letter a day for the entire month, which I am participating in inkowrimo this year. I participated 2 years ago, but as many of you know, I never actually mailed the letters. I wrote them. So this year, I'm going to write them, mail them, and I will likely do more than the one a day, because I'm going to do it this year. I'm excited. But some of them might be in dip pen business penmanship. I might use a fountain pen for some of them, like my Pilot Decimo that's on my desk here all the time. I haven't decided. I probably won't do them all in OP, but some of them. But International Correspondence Writing Month, you should try it. The letters don't have to be mailed. If you work in an office, write a note, write a postcard. You can write it could be on sticky notes. It's just to write something and give it or send it to somebody every day of February. And it's the shortest month, so it's the least amount of commitment that's possible. Should be a good one. I participated years ago, around the time that it started, for a couple years, and then I kind of fell off a little bit. And then 2 years ago I tried to do it, but I failed because I didn't mail anything. Oh, 30 inks in 30 days. That's cool. That's a fun one. Alright, where were we? I'm bouncing all over the place here today. Scatterbrained. We're connecting A's. Why are connecting A's so problematic? Okay, what if we do standard A? Whoa. Into... I don't want to come at it that way. I want the other way to go with it. No, I don't like that. How do you get into... Oh. I mean, you could do... I don't think I'm going to like this, but there's this idea. But that doesn't have the compound curve. No, that doesn't make it very good. A, that makes an X. Ignore that. Ah, that'll be... Yeah, you need to... If you're gonna put down the money for something snazzy, you're gonna want to take care of it for sure. Is there a resource for people to write to connected to this event? There is. If you go to inkowrimo, that's INCOWRIMO. I will write it. Whoa, that's a very fat I. inkowrimo.org. I'm pretty sure it's .org. Oops. There is information about inkowrimo. There's a thread of people who've put addresses down. If you think to yourself, I don't have 30 people to write to, there's a bunch of people who have put their addresses. Just be aware that it is a public forum. Anybody can post their stuff there. So once you post it, be aware that your address is free and in the internet for anybody to have if it's there. But yeah, you can go there and you can talk to other people that are a part of the challenge in the chat there. inkowrimo also has an Instagram page. I don't know what it necessarily is posting prior and during the event. I'm assuming it will primarily be just tagging people that hashtag inkowrimo. Yeah, there are lots of people, specifically in the fountain pen world, who like doing a lot of correspondence. And it doesn't have, like I said before, it doesn't have to be a long letter or anything. It can just be a postcard or something small. But people put their addresses up for anybody to write to them, so you could make a new friend and get some writing practice at the same time. How would it look written as inkowrimo? There's a video on my Instagram page writing that exact thing. I'm gonna write it again though, just because you said it. Yeah, I did. It was 2 years ago. I wrote it that exact way. Try to do a less, put our eye on Weight Watchers here for a sec. See if we can do a good eye. There's one possibility of how it could look off the top of the head. Ooh, Belinda sent me one too. I've been meaning to make Instagram story posts about the cool stuff that people have sent me over Christmas, and I haven't got around to. I've taken the pictures, I just have to post them. Maybe that'll be tomorrow. What's NaNoWriMo? Enlighten me, George. I don't know what NaNoWriMo is. Now the smart thing to do here would be to finish this A, and to come back here and finish that A. But what if this A finishes that A? Does that work? That's kind of cool. This could be not quite as far, so it follows a little more parallel here, and not quite as round right there. But that's a neat idea. I like that. I've never done that before. National Novel Writing Month. Holy moly. What did you write, George? That's a big undertaking. Or did you write somebody else's novel, or did you legitimately write a novel? Or a 50,000 word story? We'll try that thing again. Too close together. Nope. Well, that could go down there even. Yeah, that's a lot of writing. Good thing that when you do penmanship, your hand isn't gripping the pen and it's super relaxed, so you can write forever, right? Oh, that's fun, Marilyn. Nice. Wow, that's cool. That's dope. That's a cool challenge. There is potential here for this AA combination. I think... Oh wait, I could also, I guess if I cross that way. Hello, Lori. Welcome, welcome. You'll be happy to know that I started the stream on time this week. Uh-oh, now what? I guess that can end. Oh, this one's not as exciting. I don't like that as much. It works, but I don't like it. That's a good excuse to get yourself some new ink. I have to do that as well. I gotta get rid of some of my old ink so I can get... Who is it? I think there's a new Edelstein ink that is really pretty, and I kind of want it, but I'm only allowed to get it if I actually use it, and I'm only gonna convince myself that I'll use it if I use the stuff that I have already. So my pens are getting use, which is why so many of them are on my desk at the moment. I've been in fountain pen mode for the past little while. Alright, we're gonna go, this AA is my favorite one. That's the one I'm going to. Hello, Manish. Welcome, welcome. Golden barrel. No, they have one that's like a... What's it? It's like a teal coming, I think. I don't think it's out yet. Or it might be out. I don't know very much about fountain pen news. But it's like it's a bluish tealy color. Alright. We did AA. We did AB in the beginning. We do AC now. Whoa. That A is very long. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. It's like... Not appetite. But it's like... It's based off of like a... I can't remember. Looks really pretty though. I saw it on the Anderson Pens podcast. AC, pretty easy combination there. Oh, it is appetite. Yay! Good job, brain. My brain remembered, but I didn't remember that my brain remembered. Awesome. Yeah, I liked the look of, I guess it wasn't a swatch, but of the gem or whatever that they showed in the podcast, so it looked like a pretty ink. Yet to be foreseen, I guess. Comes out in March, okay. So, I got time, because I got some inks to use before I'm allowed to get anything new. Alright, AD. Okay, we can do a standard D as well. If we get ink in our pen, in any case. Ooh, and not a terrible D. Not amazing, but not terrible. Ooh, one little thing. Letting you guys know sort of my thought processes when I'm practicing ornamental penmanship. Something interesting has come about recently where I've been experimenting with on letters like the capital C and the capital D and things like that that have a direct oval shade. I like the O. As you know, I like to do my shades where my whole arm kind of goes down and I use grip. But I'm finding, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing yet, I'm just experimenting with it, but when I'm doing shades like this on the D, or on an O, this is not a really great example, but if I use my index finger and press ever so slightly, if I like, as if I'm creating the shade with my index finger, which is something I normally don't do, and I'm going, as I'm pressing sort of to the left, seems to ease my transition into the shape of that shade. So if I was doing a capital C, for example, I can get, whoa, it's a nice Kanan C. I can get this nice rounded bit up at the top, which I have struggled in the past getting. So I don't know if this is a cheat or if I like it yet. But it is a thing that I'm finding. Just, it's not all with my finger, but I find when my index finger does that little bit of boop, just that little assist, it's giving me a nice shade more often than not, which is cool. Again, still in experimentation mode. Yeah, it's like a turquoise. It's I guess a dark bluey turquoise, I think. Don't quote me on anything I'm saying about it. You'd have to check it out, give it a Google. But I just remember the initial look of it was appealing to me, and I am in love with the Edelstein bottles. I think the bottles are gorgeous, so I just want the bottles basically as well. I wish I could dip an oblique holder in them. At least I don't think I can. Alright, we have AE. There's another one that should be relatively straightforward. Whoa, that is extremely, I didn't expect to do an extra loop up there. That's an extremely loopy E. Do I like it? I will admit it's kind of a cop-out that I'm doing the exact same exit oval / entry into the second letter on all these A's, but it just kind of works. I guess it doesn't have to have that extra oval on top. It could also be something like that, a little more clean. And if I was gonna do that, I could give the E a little pizzazz. Oh, very long entrance to the and do something like that. They're a little too close together in this moment. Ooh, I'm not familiar with Birmingham inks. There are so many. George, I'm writing in, what's the word? Letter. 8.5 by 11. Because this is the paper that I ordered recently, so they sell it in 8.5 by 11. They cut it down from parrot sheets. That's one of the things that I have some of the longer rhodia pads, some of the legal rhodia pads, and they're quite long. And same when I have some paper that's A4, but I feel like I've used most of it now. Oh, Fozzie, it's not that bad. I'm gonna try that one more time though, and try to get the A and E. A little more space there would be lovely, which teaches me if I were to put more space there, then my shade is gonna connect right there. So what I'm gonna do is extend this exit oval from the A a little bit farther to the right, and that should, in theory, solve that potential issue. We'll see. Ugh, not a very good shade on the E, but that's the idea. Now we'll go into F. Yeah, most of these are going to be not that challenging. There's just a few down the line that are going to be a bit challenging to connect, but ideally I'll have a page or a specimen of AA all the way through AZ, and then the next page, the next specimen will be BA all the way through BZ, and then CA through CZ, and so on and so forth, and it will take me 1 billion days to finish it, or longer. but it will be great practice and should be pretty cool when it's finished. Alright, what are we doing? AF. Alright, we can cop out again and do an F like so. There we go. Notice the F that I talked about in the beginning with the pointy bit on top. If you were here to hear that, there's no pointy bit on the top of this F. That is something I'm very actively trying to work on. It also happens when I do my lowercase t. I will often do my T and shade it, and it's pointy. It's not a nice smooth, and for no reason. One stroke isn't easier than the other. There's just some habit in my muscles that create that shape. And so if I remind myself, it goes away and I can do it nice and smooth. But I literally have to remind myself every time. It's not habitual to do the nice one. It's habitual to do the not nice one. And I don't know where that came from. Gotta be somewhere. Some habit I gave myself back in the day. Take a sip of tea. Speaking of tea, since I was just talking about the lowercase t, Hody, you put in the chat that you dislike your lowercase t. Why is that? Talk to me, Hody. What's the problem? Oh, we now hit a challenging letter combination. The ward hump. Don't make that I don't need that to be a thing, George. I don't want bad habits to be named after me. But I mean, that is what it is. It's a very weird thing that I've done for a long time. And it's like my muscles just want to do this little, like, not spasm, but a little, when I do that crossing of the T, I really have to focus to make it smooth. Like when I do this one, I really have to, instead of focusing on this compound curve, I have to really focus on this large implied oval. And don't start the compound curve until I finish the top half of the large oval. So it goes across. Where this becomes a real challenge for me is instances where, for example, the EW Bloser letter, which has the F like so, like that, and then he comes around here. Does he come from the bottom? No, he comes from here. And he comes down. This is, I'm pretty sure, where it comes from. I like dropping my Fs quite a bit lower. Maybe not this is a little bit extreme. But the issue comes in then this is rarely like getting the smooth round into the down, which is how Bloser does it in the letter. I tend, in going down, I end up getting this little Sharpie bit on top that I'm working to get rid of at the moment. The ward hump. Get out of here. Nah, don't name bad habits after me. No. If you make the T the way I do it, you always get off slant. You mean lowercase t? Does that mean that your downstroke, your pull, that rapid pull and release, you have to make sure that you know the slant of your, like whatever your 52 or whatever slant you're writing on, you want to make sure that when you pull down, your muscles want to pull down. Whoops, rogue. Your muscles want to pull down along that slant line. Because then when you apply your shade and you release, you'll be right there. It's easy to be a little too angled. That's probably what happens, I would say, most often. It's like, I'm just guessing here, but it's likely less common to be more vertical and more common to go that way, because when you go quick, you're likely unintentionally incorporating a little bit of hinge movement into the writing, so it's not a up and down push pull like we do in the drills, but more of a quick pull from the elbow instead of a pull from the arm, if that makes sense. So that's going to pull that downstroke off this way. Whereas when we get that shade, we need to make sure that our downstroke is a pull along the slant line. So we're really used to pulling down this way along our slant line. I don't think you're alone in that, Sally. I think that's a relatively common thing. You can often see, if you look through examples and stuff, any letter that has two semi-extended or semi-extended ascenders, like a T and a D back to back, that's one of the parts where you'll see some inconsistency in the two on occasion, because it's hard to keep them both exactly right when that pull is happening quickly. You can always slow down the pull, so long as it's not going to affect your hairlines too much. You don't have to do a really quick release. You can go here and give a slower release down the slant line. But again, you just have to make sure that your pull is coming down the slant line and not hinging to the left. That would be my shot in the dark little piece of advice that may or may not be helpful. All right, FO, challenge AG. So, ideally, I want to use this G. I mean, I can take out the entry oval, which would look, I need a glide sheet, which would look a little something like this. That can work, but I don't like it as much. I don't like it yet. It's not there. That could work. A way to make that exact thing work a little better is if I gave an accent shade on the top of the G. Whoa, ugly entrance into the A. I still don't know that I love it, but it works. It is an option. So we have something, but do I feel like we can do better? Yes, I do. This is an instance, another one where it may be in our best interest whoa. No, definitely didn't work. Think. I mean, we could just end the G. Wait. I guess I mean, the G doesn't have to loop around. It could be... No, there's too much going on there. Urgh. I don't like that. That little implied oval in there is killing the flow. It could end as just a stem on the baseline. It's not something I usually like doing, but it is very possible. Ooh, nice Asian. It could just go there. Just had a little accent shade up here would be nice. Something like that. look like AG? Kinda. We could do the variation that they use. It's a combination between the regular and the descender. Oh, that doesn't work because we have this conflicting line right there. Well, that's not a good idea. We got a drawing board this one. I would often, at this juncture, grab pen and pencil and try to figure something out, but since we're live, and we're just flying by the seat of our pants, we're just gonna try to figure it out on the fly. Because there's bound to be a solution that works. Well, there are solutions that work. We just gotta find them. In a perfect world, I would love to do something like this. And have all those lines be parallel of each other. Oh, this one would be there. Or to do the G backwards would be pretty cool. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that wasn't in frame. Okay, so what we're gonna go for, we'll do the A with this line here, but we're gonna stop there. Stop right there. And then I'll do the G following that oval parallel, give it an accent, and a shade here that stops on the baseline. That may work. Always here are the queen wins. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Oh, I did them way too close together. Something like that. I feel like that's how like an old signature writer would do it. I just don't like the... I guess this still had space to go over here. Come around there? Or cross there? No, see, that's where we run into a problem. Why are you so complicated? Capital G? We could cop out and do something like this. That's a cop out. That's too easy. Too easy to make look decent. But maybe we'll do that. For now, we do a compound curve into the T or into the A. Go to there, bring this down. Oh! Could this continue? I mean, I don't like it stopping there. But if you could hit in a perfect world, like right there, and make it stop, that's a cool combination. That's an infinity letter if you did it right, if you did it perfect. Is there a smarter way to do that? Okay, so for anybody who's never tried to do infinity letters before, they are super fun. And the way that you can kind of, once you create something that works in an infinity, in a seamless loop, obviously where we were starting and stopping is a hard stop, so it's a good place to start, but it's tough to hit from there. I mean, you could also essentially start it this way. Hit that, AG. That's a very messy example of it, but that's fun. Fun infinity, but that's not the goal for today. We could do something like this. Whoops, that's supposed to continue. Oopsie. That's probably the cleanest of the two we've done. This could drop less below the baseline. We got options. I'm gonna try that last one more time. Just for kicks. Like so. We'll say that works for now. That's not the prettiest G. But it works. Now we have H, which can start with a regular stem, so that can be pretty straightforward. Like so. Or what else can we do? We could also do something like so. The AC. That works. We wanted a loop in the middle. That's maybe a little prettier. I did it too close together, but try that one more time. Something like that. AH. We're only at I. Jeez, there's a lot of letters in the alphabet. Did anybody know that? H-I. Or 8-I, I mean. Oh, I is a backwards letter. So we gotta get going into indirect oval somehow. I mean, we can just flourish around a whole bunch until we get there. But it was gonna look messy, probably. Yeah, too much stuff going on if I do that. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay. Let's change up the idea a little bit. What if I do this? Dun, dun, dun. Psych. Oh, that was an ugly placement of that oval, but change of direction, do the eye first. I don't like the way this tapers. AI, une challenge. How's your Photoshop going, Fuzzy? Do you use Photoshop or Illustrator when you're setting up your wedding stuff? Okay. I to A. This might not work, but this is an interesting idea. It's ugly A, it's an ugly A, but that kind of works. Ah, that's a good plan. That works. That's what I do as well. That works. I mean, if it didn't get intruded with this, it didn't get too far to the left. It's quite round. I like it better if it went up to like there. Or so, I think. But I'm not mad at it. Good night, Sally. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you on the next one. Sweet dreams. Alright. I think that's the one I'm going to stick with for now. That also work? Oh, but then that doesn't drop. That needs to drop to the baseline, so that doesn't work. Oh, here, we'll do this one. Something like that works if I did it. Now, if I just do a clean one, didn't leave myself space. Did a nice eye though. Bah! They look so far apart when I do them that way. AI just don't look good together. I think the simpler version was the way to go. Like so. We'll call that for AI. Now AJ. For AJ, we should be able to get away with something like that. Can work. The J could also cross a little lower, so it doesn't all meet there. But that works. Ah, sleepy time for Marilyn. Alright, Marilyn. Thanks for hanging out twice today. I will see you on the next one. Now we do AK. Oh, we're back to this is nice and standard. Hey, I'm in the need of ink. S'il vous please. Whoa, that was a very abrupt compound curve. But that's a decent A to K. Pretty simple combination. I'm gonna just do another one just so I have a slightly nicer quality K. There we go. AK. Wonderful. That works. Now we go to AL. I love these ones. Oh, this little chunk are nice and standard. They don't throw me for too many loops. I'm going to pause to do two things. One, I'm going to take a sip of tea. Yummy, yummy Earl Grey tea today. Decaffeinated. And then step two, a little bit of chapstick because it's dry in here right now. Okay, onwards. AL. Now, this totally works, but I have to admit, well, I'm getting a little bored. Not bored, but I don't like these always entering from down here. With the L, I would wish I had something up here, so if I, with the shape of the L, I have this space. I'm wondering if I can take this all the way up and around without it looking bad. There's a hair in my nib, so I will get rid of that first. Okay. AL, but we'll go all the way around this time. That everything has a lot more space when done that way. I like that a whole lot more. There we go, AL. Alright, M. AM. The first instinct I have is the same way we got into the last variation of the H that we did. Like so. AM. Nice and clean and simple. Maybe a little too simple. There are a few ways we could jazz that up. We can get our loopy on. And do something like that. Works. Like so. The only thing I don't like about this is how this sort of cascades down to the lower right, but that can be fixed. If I were to have dropped this A down a little bit lower, it would fix that slight issue. Yeah, there's AM. AN, done the exact same way. If you can do an M, you can do an N. Nope. My brain decided to be fancy, and it didn't work. Oh, I just got a neat idea, though. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. This may or may not be cool, but I'm gonna try it. If I do a stroke like this, then do a stroke like that, and then do a stroke like... Oh shoot, I didn't go far enough. That way, I was gonna create an AH, but in a really unusual way. I'm gonna try that again. I'll bring my second shade a little bit closer. Okay. Or too close. Darn it, that was the idea. If that had come up to there, then we get a really cool AH. Did I have trouble with AH before? Not really, but I think I like this variation better. Potential issue with where the things are crossing in the A. It kind of makes the A look a little bit messy, but that's a neat idea. Neat concept coming out of the dome. Ideally, this would be a better oval and it would be shaped better, which would drop it down here more and go through where I crossed up to there. And that would make it look better. But that's a cool, I like that idea. Alright, back to A. Where are we? AN, right? Before I got distracted. Those are the type of ideas that strike me when I'm not sleeping, but when I'm in my room or about to go to bed or boarding a plane or doing something random. I get an idea and be like, oh, would that work? And then I do air ovals for a while, trying to visualize to see if my idea worked or not. Whoa, what am I doing? We can bring them closer together to do an AN like so. Do a better N shade. That's flatter. That one doesn't quite lay on the baseline. It's a cool AN. I don't believe A.N. Palmer ever did his AN connection like that. Maybe he did, I don't know. Hello, Dances with Aardvarks. Welcome, welcome. And hello to the UK. Dances with Aardvarks, if I'm not mistaken, you just subscribed to the channel just not but 12 days ago, according to my records here. It's nice to have you here. Alright, A straight into the O now. So we're going to do the obvious option that comes to mind right out of the get-go is to just keep on going after that exit oval. Whoa, ugly shade, but already doing this lets me know that I think I want to shade this first one instead of the second one. Maybe? We'll see. Ah, welcome back. What was your 30 years ago? What was your style? What was your jam in the calligraphic world? You were copperplate, engrosser script, black letter, broad pen. What's your poison? Or ornamental penmanship? Oops. Oh, forgot that I was doing an O. I don't. My A shades. Look, my A shades tend to go like this, and my O shades will be like this. They're the issue with combining the A and the O, for me in any case, is that I do them. The shades themselves feel like they're at different angles, so it's hard to get a good. Wow, they don't look good together. So I gotta get creative. Which the solution to that might just be to use a different variation of the A, because they're just alike enough that when they're not exactly the same, it tends to really show, or to my eye anyway, and it bugs me. But if I were to do this may not work, but we'll try it. Way too close together, but that's a cool idea. Ah, I'm part of the Edward Johnson School. Nice. Ah, that's okay. Rust comes off pretty easily. Just gotta shake it off. The biggest thing that I would say, and I can't say that I know what it's like because I didn't do calligraphy 30 years ago and then stop and get back into it. But I would say if you're diving back in and anything you used to be good at that you're maybe not as good at now, don't put pressure on yourself to do it good. Allow yourself to be not good. Allow there to be rust. Because the more you allow there to be rust while you work through it, the quicker that rust is going to fall away. Where if you fight it and get frustrated because it used to be good, that rust is just going to cling on a whole lot more. You've never used an oblique holder? What? That's lock this person up. You're going to jail. That's all right. Cool. We got to get you started with an oblique holder. It's a wonderful tool that does pretty cool work. Do you own an oblique holder? Ugh. Okay, there's potential here. I just got to decide which oval I want to shade. I think I want to have a shade here, a hairline here, and a hairline here. And then I want this exit of the A. Obviously, I can bring them a little closer together so the A is not so wide at the bottom. I'll bring this up ever so slightly higher, and then come down there. Maybe, if I can flatten it out. I think. Oh, you're making your own pens. Dope. Nice, nice. That is, a lot of penmen do it that way. They used to say, I don't remember exactly who used to say, but a master penman, once they became a master penman, they would make tools for other people. A lot of the old masters used to make tools. It's not that they had to, but a lot of old penmen used to make the tools, so they'd be set up the way they wanted them to do exactly what they wanted. Oh, I did the exact, not what I said I was gonna do. Oh, whoops. Get a new sheet and try that again, shall we? Do you prefer to be called Dances with Aardvarks, or do you have a name that we could know you by? The choice is yours. Or Dances with Aardvarks, DA, or Aardvark, or Dances with? Probably not Dances with. I could call you Aardvark. I like that. What up, Aardvark? But I want to double check that that's okay with you first. Another mic. There's so many mics. And you're from the UK as well. I'll let you know that in the video community here, we have a UK mic. So it's not you, but there is somebody that has the nickname UK mic already. There's just so many of us. I did it again. Come on, Mike. We gotta do shade the first one. Okay. Aardvarks. I like Aardvarks just because it's unique and I'll remember it more than Mike, because there's a lot of Mikes, including myself. But I will remember that Aardvark's name is Mike. What do we call new Mike? Not new Mike. We'll call him new Mike is Aardvarks. Oh, Hody's still here. The chat's been quiet today. I don't know who's still here. I know Fozzie's working in Photoshop. And what are you doing, Hody? Are you working on your lowercase t's? If those are what you say would give you trouble. Art Mike. Yeah, that's the idea. I totally messed up going into the A though. But that is, everything else was what I wanted it to be. Cool, that's a fun combination. I like Aardvarks. That's a good one. Texting with your boss. Work stuff, or are you guys friends outside of work? Or are you at work now? I did it again. Skeet's still here, right on. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if lots of people are here and not a lot of people are here. It's neither here nor there. I get curious what everybody's up to during the streams. I wonder if Lurker Leon is here. If he is, we'll never know. If he is, what's going on, Leon? If he's not, what's going on, Leon? No, just Swinny today. That's unusual. Ugly the ovals. That's the idea. I'm gonna leave this one there because I do like that little combination. Troubleshooting a robot vacuum. That's fun. What kind of iRobot or Roomba, or which one do you have, James? Wait, I'm gonna do this one more time. I need to be able to do this better. Get a little more angle and see if that helps. There's the idea. Still not perfect, but it's a cool combination. Slightly too far apart. A Robovac. Oh, Robovac. He wants to go out on his own. He doesn't want to be on the grid. He wants to go OTG. I personally am not a fan of writing. I mean, I can't say I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of practicing lowercase. And I wish my lowercase letters were nicer. Alright, AP. But all I gotta do to get better at the lowercase letters is use them. AP, that's not a very exciting AP, that's sort of a cop-out combination. Lurker Lori? I assumed you would have gone to bed by now, Lurker Lori. Glad you're still here. Oh, and Mom is still here? Nice. That's good, everybody's concentrating. As am I. Concentration day. Alright, how can I do this P better? Let's get creative here, shall we? It's a curious combination of AP, if that's what this exercise is for. Think of some unique options. I'm going to try that again and drop this below the baseline a little bit. Yeah, that'll happen with the lowercase letters. If you're going to do the lowercase letters fast, you better have a lot of business penmanship training under your belt, or it just doesn't work. That's the idea. AP, I like that combination. Is unique. That would work for a cool B as well. AP. Q, AQ. Oh, what variation of the Q are we going to use? I mean, we can go... Let's just wing it and see. Oh, come on. Don't do that. I mean, that's the cop-out answer. Right there. But it's gonna look like a G to a lot of people, so we can't do that. I really like that Q, but most people see it as a G, so we'll have to do maybe the 2Q, perhaps? Oh, ugly shade. Let's try that again. This should not be a stem shade, it should be a reverse oval shade. Just right on the edge of the paper, get a glide sheet. Something like that, but that seems boring. But it works, and we have the contrasted reversed oval and oval shade. I want to try a curious cue. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna try to make my A shade more vertical than I normally would. Oh, very fat A. I like the idea of that. I really like the idea of this cue that goes, but I don't. It looks like a cue with an L in it, sort of. I saw it in a Business Educator article and it looked cool, but I don't know if it works. The finial on the top of my, yeah, of course. My little octopus. This is the Kraken. It's all one solid piece of walnut wood that I carved by hand into this little octopus pal of mine. I'm assuming that's what you meant by the finial. I want to do some more. Whoops! Don't lock the focus there. I want to do some more carving soon. I gotta carve, or I gotta decide what to carve. I think I want to carve a pen. Some people might think it's a little gross, but I want to make a pen with a little, like, caterpillar crawling up the side. Just a tiny little, like a, or not a caterpillar, maybe like a, well, I just said caterpillar. Whoops. Like an inchworm, inching its way up the pen, maybe. I have made pens before. I don't make these pens. Chris Yoke makes these pens for me and leaves me a chunk of wood on the end that I then carve into other things, just because I don't have a lathe and things like that, so I don't make pens. But I have made my own. As an example, this is a pen. Go back into focus. This is a pen that I made a while ago. It's a, I think, 12-inch acrylic tail holder that was hand turned. I don't own a lathe, but I own an electric drill, and I can make it do sort of the same thing. So I do make pens, but not as like a business or anything like that. It's just when I'm feeling ridiculous and I want to make a pen, I'll make one. Or I've made driftwood pens and things like that, but the pens that I usually write with were made for me by Chris Yoke, and then I carve little things into them. I'm now remembering one of the reasons I wanted to do this exercise, A through Z, with every letter, and it's because, and I've been feeling it as I'm going, my A's on the page are getting more and more, I mean, there's some duds here and there, but my A's are getting consistent, because I'm essentially drilling capital A's without just drilling a capital A. I'm working on other stuff, I'm experimenting and creating and doing other letters, but the constant through the entire session is capital A's. So it's really good capital A practice with some other cool practice sort of mixed in. Alright, but I think the 2Q is the one that works for this one, so we're going to move on to R, which we could do a simple one. Like so. Relatively easy R, or we could use that, oh, does that cool connection we did for the P work for the R? It should, in theory. Like so. I don't like the way I ended that R. don't like doing the R that way as much as I did the P, but let's see if I can do, it's got a little condensed. I can make that a little bit more round. I might like it more. It's a cool AR. It's a unique connection. Not mad at it. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do the same connection, but an R with a stem. Is going to be the goal on this one. Ooh, nope. I already know that doesn't work as well because the R doesn't look as good. I mean, it's gonna work, but yeah, don't like that one. All right. Yeah, he's put a lot of information out there. I think a lot of the, not all, but a lot of the pen makers today have learned a lot of what they do from him in creating their tools. He's very, very knowledgeable. Alright, AS. Now we have the exact same issue that we ran into with the G that we did earlier. So I'm going to try the same solution. See if what I do works. Try to wing it first. Just a standard at, oh, see, but no, the top of the A, that's too long. No, I just did a G. Oh, see, that doesn't work. Because that oval's right. Where that oval is. I would love the S to be nice and close to the A. But I don't know if that's possible. Hello, Gary. How you doing? There's no such thing as being late. There's just such thing as being here when you're here. Our challenge today, I'm trying to go through the entire alphabet connecting A to every other letter. And then after that, if we're still going, I'll try to connect B to every other letter, and then C to every other letter, and so on and so forth. Right now, I'm trying to figure out a clever way to connect the A and the S. Just really quick, I want to try. If I were to cheat, I could potentially do something like this. Whoops, that's a very, very fat A. Whoops. That's not how does that... Wait, how do I do that S? I don't remember anymore. That's the S I was doing. What did I do wrong? That's similar to the S that Fozzie did. I don't know if that's gonna work either. You missed the R's? Which? That's my favorite R that we did. It's the very canon-esque ending that I've been into, ending my R's that way lately. But this, I can do the weird S, but I still don't know if I like the way it connects to the A this way. I'm gonna have to be creative in my connection, I guess. I think. I mean, that totally works. I kind of, doesn't really look like an S in this instance, but I kind of fluked my way through that one, getting all these lines to be relatively parallel. I wonder, if I were to do a standard S, if I drop the exit of the A that low like I just did, and then did a standard S, could I thread everything like perfectly? That's a G. That's not an S. It should be like AL, but the reason it's not, wait, what? Because the AL we did was like so. Which essentially works. Oh wait, I did it with a larger entry oval. Sorry, we ended up, I'm now remembering, we did the AL like this. So that's how we did AL. If we try to do the S that way, the problem is that our exit stroke of the S hits very close to where this line is, and they don't like, they get in each other's way. So we can't do the AS. We can potentially do it similar, but we can't do it the exact same, because the AL is, I mean, is relatively easy, but the AS adds a level of complexity that gets in the way. Like ideally, we would do something like that if I didn't mess up this last oval, where the whole S is fit inside of the A. That I would say would be my like the go-to best case scenario. I would love to do it that way. Would I hit this all the time? Unfortunately not. But that is the goal, which is what I was also trying to accomplish with the capital G that we were doing. But it is one of those ones that is slightly easier said than done. In a perfect world, what I would love to learn how to do one day is do this. I would love to go, and then I would like to go into a flourishing grip, which I can't write in a flourishing grip, and do the S essentially backwards. So I would go from here, and then I would add the shade. That would be, and the shade would be where it belongs here. If I did that portion, if I could learn how to do a reverse S, that would be, in my opinion, the best way to do, or the way that I would prefer to do the A and the S. Another way to do that would be to do this. We could cheat that thing. What I could do, I didn't think of this earlier, but I could just do this. Imagine that went up a little higher, and I could do like that. But obviously you can see the glaring issue with the way I just did that. This has to come up much closer into there. So let's try that again. If we do them in two different strokes and try to hit what I call a trick stroke, hit that connection, it could look really cool, but rather difficult to do all the time. Something like that. Ideally, that works, but I think this looks really good. So I'm going to try to nail that all beautiful parallel line A to S. And I'm going to try to make my A shade a little smaller and my S shade a little bigger so they match. But as you guys know, I have a challenge making the S shade larger these days. Something like that. Ideally, the lines would be parallel, but we're going to stick with that idea for now, because that totally works. It just would take some practice to get used to the spacing of where the S needs to go. But that's the idea. All right, AT. AT, pretty standard here. Go back similar. We can do basically the same thing we did for the F. AT. AU. All right, now this, I'm going to use that connection that we use for the P. There are many ways we could get into this one, but I feel like I really like the way that that would look. Like so. AU, that's a pretty connection. Ooh, Holy's practicing now. Welcome to practice. I like that. That's really good. And then we can follow that same idea for the V. Like so. But I think to balance that out, or to space that out a little bit more, I'm going to end the V the same way that Mataraz ends it in his Count That They Lost video, or not video, quote, by doing something like this. Yeah, AV. I like that. Nice connection, looks good. This could be a hard stop, or it could have, I put a little loop into it. A fun fact, because he's in chat right now, so long as he's not offline working on his his vacuum. Lurker James is one of the reasons why I do that little loop in there, because when I was designing the signature that I currently use, he told me to do it with a tiny little loop. So now I use that tiny little loop pretty much all the time. Because that same connection is how I get from the, well, it's a G, but the G that I use the top of a capital A into the W. QRSTUVW, which, I mean, we can use that exact same connection now into the W if we don't want to be creative. And we don't have to be creative. A2W. Oh, that was a very smooth. That A felt really yummy. The A's are feeling really good today. As I continue this A practice. Now I got my hand set up to give me a stem right here for the W. Like so. AW, A and W. Will be a new vintage logo for the A&W franchise. Oh, I should make a vintage inspired A&W root beer logo and put it on a foil it onto a leather label for a bottle. That'd be fun. Oh, sleep time for Lori. All right, Lori, good night. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you on the next one. Just a reminder to everybody a reminder to everybody as well that as I'm doing my daily word of the day from dictionary.com, tonight is the exception because I'm doing the late night live. But when I write my word of the day, I will be writing them, but not recording them, but I'm going to be doing the writing of them in the live study room in the study hall on my Discord. So if you don't know what the live study room is, it's just like a Zoom meeting. It's open 24 hours a day. Anybody can jump in there with anybody else. They don't need me to be there. You can just jump in, chat. You can turn your mics on. You can leave your mics off. You can turn your cameras on. You can turn your cameras off. I don't use a face cam when I'm in there usually. I just have my top-down camera, and I have been doing my writing sessions in there. And I've had some nice conversations, like I Want to Be Pendant. James was in there the other day, and we were chatting. And then last night, Kahlo came in for a little bit, and we were catching up, which was cool. Yeah, so just so you guys know, approximately 11 p.m.-ish, my time. I don't want to say I'll be there every day, but I'm going to be in there quite a bit in the evenings, if you guys are awake. And if not, jump in there anytime. I do that at 11, so essentially it would be right now, pretty much every night. I go in there. I could go in there other times of the day, or other people can jump in there other times of the day. I would kind of love it to be whenever anybody's at their desk sort of writing or just hanging out with penmanship, they can just jump in there, and then they can practice or hang out with other people audibly or visually, if people want to turn their cameras on. We got X now. Oh, we're almost done. All right, we accidentally did an X earlier, didn't we? How did I do that? It is a good time. Like, Kahlo and I we had a really good catch up yesterday. Nobody else joined in, so it was essentially like her and I just had a private Zoom call for like an hour, but it was really fun, and it's open all the time. Let's do A and X. You know what? I'm gonna do this the exact same way. Actually, wait. Yeah, I'm gonna try this first the exact same way as I did the W. That totally works for the X. But I want to see if I can get this exit oval of the A. I'm going to do this connection outside of the A, so the little loop won't be inside the A. But I'm going to see if this oval can cut through the middle of the X. Just because why not? Fun little challenge. Yeah, she was doing brush penmanship stuff or brush lettering stuff for a class she's working on, and I was warming up to do my word of the day, and we were just chatting. Ooh, okay, now we go. No, maybe I can still keep a little loop in here. If I just make this wider. Something like that. I like the idea. It's not the perfect execution. Maybe it's a little too much trying to get it in there and have this be really long. I think so. Let's try it with a little looping outside of the That's better, I think. Yep. Oh, I lost my hair over here. That's essentially going there. I like that. AX. Be nicer if this was a little rounder. I could give a little loop and come up and around, but we'll leave it there for now. Now we have AY. I have a feeling AY is going to be relatively standard because we're just going to do it the same way we did the U and the V. We just got to be cautious that the exit oval of the A doesn't get either, it could be short or it could be long, but if it's right in the middle, it's going to catch the upstroke and they get in the way of the downstroke of the Y. So we'll see. What's the most difficult lowercase letter? Probably F, because it's both a fully extended ascender and descender with a shade. Probably one of my favorite lowercase letters, but it's probably the hardest one. There's our Y, pretty standard. But I think since this is standalone, I like the idea of doing this Y. Like so. I think that looks cool. S can be difficult, yeah. I think X is a tough one. I mean, X on its own isn't really difficult, but it doesn't always match the other letters when it's written. I think some people find R tough. For me, any letter that has an ascender in it is the hardest letter, because I don't like ascenders. I mean, I like ascenders, but my hand doesn't like writing ascenders. Alright, now A to Z. We can essentially, we could be lazy and just use this same go-to stroke if we want to. Do something like this. Like so. That's a nice clean little AZ. Exit flourish. Exit oval is a bit large. But that works. We could also have an accent shade on the descender. This is a little gold mine, this little loop inside the A. That makes everything work. You would also, I think, see... Now, what I have to do with this Z, the main issue with this Z is the shade is a little low. I would rather the shade was more a reverse oval shade rather than be. It's kind of in the middle between a reverse oval shade and a stem shade at the moment. There you go, James. It's all because of you. How's your vacuum coming along? Oh, come on. How about we do that downstroke on the slant line? That's my habitual exit stroke from the Z. I kind of always do the compound curve into the horizontal oval as standard for me. Messed that one up. Anyways, we got the good one. That works. So that concludes our A's. That's fun. Now I gotta figure out, I mean, ideally, the way I want to do this is, I won't do it tonight, but one perfect page of, well, perfect, quote unquote, of all of them handwritten. Or I'll write them all and just Photoshop them as if they were on one page and in one attempt. Undecided. Probably option number 2, if I want things to look super clean and good. But option number 1 would be cooler, because I would have the paper specimen to go with it. I am gonna do the word of the day, just not in the Instagram thing. or not in, sorry, not in the Discord study room. But now that it is 11 here, they should give me on the app. I don't know if the app waits until midnight to show me the new. Oh, come on, give me the new word. The website will give me the new word, but I don't want to load the website on my computer. Can I load it? Oh, wait. I will load it in a browser doc. How do I do that? Let's go. All right. Dictionary.com's word of the day is Epicurean. Epicurean. E-P-I-C-U-R-E-A-N. Epicurean. Oh, which has a long definition. Fond of or adapted to luxury or indulgence in sensual pleasures, having luxurious tastes or habits, especially in eating and drinking. There we go.
Epicurean.
Oh, I said it Epicurean, but they said Epicurean. Epicurean, apparently. Epicurean. So they say. Epicurean. That's not a noob question at all. Yeah, that is a long one. That's a long definition. That's one of the longest to date, I think. The nib I'm using today is a Hunt 101 that has been sharpened. You can see here. Let me show you. If I do this, there is my sharpened Hunt 101 with a nice, fine, smooth point on it. The underside. Here's the bottom side, all nice and smooth. Sorry, I'm just enjoying using my little microscope. Okay, that's enough of that. Hunt 101. That's been sharpened just a little bit. I took just a couple minutes to tweak the ending of it to give it a slightly finer hairline. All right, well, I guess we finished A's, so I'm not going to go to B. I'm going to go straight into the word of the day. And I guess I'll do the word of the day live. I wasn't really planning to, but I guess it just makes sense to do it live. Since we're here, pressure's on. I'm going to switch from white paper to ivory paper, because that's what I've been writing on for the words of the day so far. Why don't we have music? What's going on? Our music stopped. Oh, this song just has silence at the end. No silence. Unacceptable. It does sound like a sinful word, Fuzzy. You are correct. Paperclip, paperclip, paperclip. All right. Epicurean. Capital E. See how my E's work today. Write and scan, write and photograph. I tried scanning them, and the scanner does a horrible job at picking up these hairlines. They're very, very fine. My scanner just can't cut it. Ugh, not good enough. So I will write, let me practice the capital E for a few times, I guess. Photo scan would be the proper word, I suppose. Oh, that's what we want. That's a good one. I got caught up. I'm going to try to utilize that little, using my index finger just a little bit with this one to see if it works. Whoops. That's the idea. That's exactly what we want. Nice and small, nice and controlled. I'm not doing any real extra flourishes for the word of the days. Ah, not good enough. Good enough. Ugly exit open. Good enough. Hitch in the bottom corner. That's the idea. Okay. Move down a couple lines and give it a shot. I don't usually like to give myself space on a page. It feels really weird. Feels like I'm wasting paper. But I will go back and use these pages afterwards once I clip out the word of the days. Not bad. I don't like that shade up there, but we're gonna go for it anyway. How do I spell it? Epiceurean. Epicurean. Epicurean. All right. Now this ridiculously long definition. Not even going to worry about spacing and whatnot. We're just going to go for it and hope for the best. Wait, let me put you over here. Yeah, there we go. Thank you very much, Aardvarks. I missed between my U and my R. I had a little, I have an airline going there, but that's okay. Okay. Fond of or adapted to luxury. How much space is that going to take? Let's say fond of or adapted to is probably going to be on one line. I thought you, wasn't it? It was like a few months ago or a couple months ago, you told me something had happened and you sort of unlocked the capital E. You did something and it all started working for you, I thought, Fozzie. What is happening? There's a hair or something. That N doesn't look like it should. Darn it. That's gonna be really frustrating. Don't ruin it. Not a big deal, but that hairline is not nearly as smooth as it should be. Something is up with this nib all of a sudden. It's unnecessarily scratchy. Slightly misaligned. I didn't nib snap. How did it get misaligned? Good. Oh yeah, right, you told me. I remember that variation you did. I remember you telling me that. Okay, let's continue. Fond of or adapted to luxury or indulgence in sensual pleasures. Jeez. Oh, that's good, Aardvarks. That's great news. I mean, that's with lowercase letters. They're really just standard, standard cursive, standard handwriting. Luxury or indulgence. No, adapted to luxury. I might have to restart because can you see the difference between Epicurean and fond or adapted to luxury? That's what it's supposed to look like. It was misaligned that entire time. Ah, bummer. Because luxury looks, oh, perfect. That's what the hairline was supposed to look like. Which means I gotta write the word again. But I'm gonna keep going just so I get a vague idea of the spacing of this definition, though. Or indulgence. That hairline's so nice. He's so good. Fond of or adapted to is not so good. It's a really good demonstration, I guess, of a hairline versus a hairline. A slight difference, or indulgence in sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures. Now, if you look really closely, you can see that the hairline starts to darken. If you go from in all the way to pleasures, the hairline gets slightly thicker through that entire thing. That lets you know that there's some ink drying on the tip of my nib, likely, and it's causing the line to get a little bit thicker. Regular viewers in the UK. Aside from UK Mike when he's here, not really, or not that I know of anyways. I don't know where everybody's from. Having luxurious tastes or habits. I mean, I guess I could, essentially, this is a definition. I could leave it here, or I could keep going. Because they didn't put a paragraph break or anything. They just used a semicolon. Having luxurious tastes. Don't spell anything wrong. Uh-oh, so there's one spacing issue. Luxurious tastes. Or habits. I would say most of the UK people, but there's, I mean, I taught Spencerian to the UK or to the European Appointed Pen Society this year. There are a lot of people over there that are really into appointed Spencerian ornamental penmanship. Or habits, especially in eating and drinking. This is such a long definition. Okay, double ascender. Get ready for it. UK Mike made a post today on the Discord of some very beautiful looking practice. Oh, drop that Y too low. Oh yeah, Martha's in. I forget that she's in Australia, true. She hasn't come into the lives for a while. She's been pretty busy teaching classes and whatnot. She hasn't been hanging out with us late at night lately. But she does join from time to time. Come on, man. Okay. Nope. Especially in eating and drinking. Should be able to fit on one line. I was doing one of these the other day, and it was a relatively long one, not this long, but the very last word, I wrote the wrong word. So silly. You know what? I might not do this one again. I might leave it at that. I know the first line isn't as nice of a hairline as the rest, but all the ascenders just worked out so well. This T is slightly off of slant, but as a whole, I'm pretty happy with this whole thing. I'm just really frustrated that fond of or adapted to is so much darker than everything else. What do you guys think? Should I leave it or should I write it again? I don't know if that means to leave it or do it again, James. Should I leave it or do it again? Yes. OCD. I don't have OCD. You gotta remember, one of the reasons I do this late night live is so people can see that things don't always have to be perfect, and they're not always perfect, and it's to fight things like OCD. Am I gonna be bothered by it? I mean, not really. Let's say this. If I'm being honest, deep down in my brain, I'm saying, I'll post it, but I'll redo it later. That's if I'm being 100% honest. Oh, I forgot to dot the whole thing. That is what I'm thinking. I can redo it later, but it is... Basically, there's a lot of ascenders in this one. I was gonna redo it. There's a lot of ascenders in this one, and all of the ascenders, like that L's a little narrow, but all of the ascenders came out really, really nice, and That's not something that always happens for me. So I'm reluctant to try to do it again, because it wouldn't be the first time that I fall down a rabbit hole of continuously trying to redo something and get it better, but I just end up failing more and more and more. So it's good, and I might just leave it. And I might post in the comments about the first line that my nib was misaligned for the first line, and I'll use it as a demonstration for the difference between a really nice hairline and a hairline. So we'll leave that. There is my word of the day. Oh, luxury. Even compared to drinking, though, luxury is just so fine and beautiful. We got thicker as we went down to drinking. I don't know why. Yeah, like all the ascenders. My favorite ascender is the L in luxury. It's basically perfect. Yep, I'm just gonna post it. I don't feel like writing it again. The D in adapted. Ah, yes. I'm kind of mad that I got a bit of an airline on this D down here, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Oh, I'm out of tea. That's very sad. I said I'm out of tea and then I started drinking. I'm definitely not out of tea. Why did I say I'm out of tea? What was supposed to come out of my mouth was, oh, my tea is cold, and then swirl, and then drink. I'm not out of tea. I have lots of tea. Now, I'm out of tea. Well, I can't put a smiley face on it, because this is gonna go, I mean, I want to put a smiley face on it, but this is gonna go in a scrapbook eventually. I have all of them, and I'm gonna clip them out, because they're all different sizes. I'm gonna clip them out and put them in a scrapbook. So, ideally, I don't know if we'll get there or not, but ideally, by the time we hit the end of 2022, I will have a binder with 365 words in them, which would be kind of cool, as a little McWard archive. Alright, well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna draw this late night live to a close. This has been a good one. This was a good sort of finish to the whole thing. I could keep writing. I'm in a writing mood. Maybe I'll keep... Is there anything anybody in the chat wants me to write? I am in a writing mood and I can keep writing. But I don't want to feel like we accomplished quite a bit today, and it's been a good live, and I feel good about today, gosh darn it. But if there's something that you guys would like to write, or more specifically, less have me write, but if there are any questions or things you guys want to talk about, we can do that, or I'm just gonna end the live. I'm undecided. I could go either way. I feel very content. You're still warming up. That works. Yours have been you've had some very shady in, not shady bad, but you're quite artistic in your word of the days, Hody. They've been rather Mataraz-esque, I suppose you could say. Hope to see you again as well, Aardvarks. It's nice to have you here. Welcome to the club. If this was somebody else's stream, or if we were in person, or if we were doing, I don't know, something, if a class was just finishing, I would say something like, cool, that was fun. After party in the live study room on the Discord, and then everybody could go there. We'd all hang out in the Zoom call, and it would be fun. But you're not gonna really do that right now. I agree with James. There are some good flourishing in there. So shady. Yeah, Shady's good. They're very artistic and they're good. Back to white paper. Wait, I missed your post. I'm gonna scroll up. I forgot. I asked James about his vacuum cleaner and then I completely ignored the answer. You gave up on the vacuum. Now you're Googling vets for your dog. Okay. What happened to blacklight? Skeet, the blacklight only turns on at midnight, and it's only 11:42 at the moment, so we got 20 more minutes until the blacklight turns on. But I'll be 100% honest with everybody, I don't think we're going to go to blackout today. I was up really late last night, and I was up late last night, and I got up early this morning, and I have stuff to do tomorrow as well, so I'm probably not going to stay, because if we hit blacklight, then I feel like I got to stay for a long time after that, so I'm going to end the stream before we hit the blacklight today. I do apologize. Let's just do an alphabet. We'll finish off with an alphabet, how about? Maybe it'll be a good one. Ooh, little nib snake. I don't know if you guys heard that. You can see it in the bottom of the sea. I had a little nib catch there. Thanks, Odie. Oh, capital D. This is where we derail the alphabet. Okay, we held it together, not too shabby. It's too short compared to... I feel like the letters, look at them, they've all gotten shorter as I've been going. Whoops. They're the size they're supposed to be. I did the A too big. You gotta fatten it up. Give it some food. Ooh, that's a nice E. That's a nice E. What is it? I just got a flash of Shrek when he goes, I said, that's a nice E. That's a nice boulder. Popped into my brain there for a moment. Let you guys get a front row seat for Random Human Jukebox, McGWard edition. One thing I would say about your capital letters, Hody, if you are okay to hear not a criticism, but just a note about them. Your entry and exit ovals, sometimes, they get rather large. And I think that having them big and it shows movement and it's nice, but I think sometimes if those were just a little bit smaller, they can still be large, but if they were a little bit smaller, it would tend to tie things in a little bit more. That's not your overall flourishes, but specifically your entrances and your exits, your starting and ending ovals, can sometimes get rather large compared to the other ovals and forms that are on your pieces. And you can totally disagree with that assessment if you want and ignore me. It's just an opinion. It's true, bigger ovals are easier to make smooth because you can go quick with them. A, B, C, D, E, F. What happened to my line there? It disappeared up here. Shoot. Whoops. Now G. H. Getting that thick hairline starting my ovals, I gotta be aware of that. I would say both Instagram and Discord. I saw Hody's work on both, but I saw it first on the Discord. I would say currently people probably post, I think on average people post more on Instagram than they do the Discord. But people have started posting practice and things that don't necessarily make it to Instagram on the Discord, which is what I really like. That's why the Discord's there. Like I said, Mike, UK Mike posted some really nice ornamental penmanship work today on the Discord that I don't know if he might have posted on Instagram. I'm not honestly sure. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Capital I. Capital J. That's not a J. Oh. I had my brain so ready to the capital K. You dummy. Whoops. Well, we derailed the alphabet. If Lurker James wants to see more ornamental penmanship posts, he should probably come out of retirement and post some more. I'm trying to lure Lurker James into the Discord study hall so he can write in there, or just at least hang out in there. I can't believe I did a K instead of a J. Darn it. So silly. Whoops, bad stem. I don't care, James. You're good. I bet you if you wrote today, I wouldn't be able to see the difference between the work you used to do and the work you do now. It's all the same. It's all good. You are Just not feeling it. That's valid. That's allowed. You're allowed to not feel it. Okay, now I gotta do this backwards. Stem of a V stroke. Yeah, not what I wanted to do, but that's okay. There we go. Full alphabet. I'm gonna sign it with our signature just for fun. Oof, those very close together. My signature might be the worst part about this one though. There's our alphabet to finish off our Tuesday late night live stream. Not perfect, but I'm quite happy with my arm today. How to feel it before you grab your pen. Well, I think that's different for everybody. I think everybody does ornamental penmanship for their own reasons. I think everybody's drawn to it for their own reasons. Like I can only speak for myself, but I don't know that I've ever gone 3 months without writing, but I've definitely gone a month, maybe 2 before, because I've always followed the, I don't want to say philosophy, but I write when I want to write. So people ask, how much do I practice every day? I don't always practice every day, and I never have since the beginning of my penmanship practice. I practice what I want. Some weeks go by and I don't write at all. Some weeks go by and I write for a ridiculous amount of hours every single day. It varies depending on what you're feeling. So James isn't feeling it. I mean, it's not going to be fun. It's going to feel like a chore. I won't deny that my goal is to somehow make James feel it again. That's what I'm working on. We'll see if we can get there or not. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. Today was a good one. We did A through Z connected alphabet, or A through Z connected combinations, and then an alphabet. And we did the word of the day. It was a good one. I feel very accomplished and good about today. So thank you very much for hanging out with me and being a part of that. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Message me on the Discord or post in the lobby on the Discord if there's a specific topic or something you would like to do in next week's Late Night Live. If there's a theme or something you would specifically like to attack. In my head, I'm thinking we'll just start with B and go B through Z, and then potentially the word of the day that day as well, and take it from there. But this has been awesome. I feel great. I'm going to sleep well tonight. I guarantee it. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process, and don't forget that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.